Hello guys, welcome back to another Math Simplified video. Today we'll be doing word problems with equations. So that means translating word problems into equations and then solving them. So to translate a word problem into an equation, the first thing to do is define a variable to represent the unknown. A variable could be, for example, x, okay? It could be anything. So it's just like a letter, just think about it that way. It could also be to identify, second step. The second step is to identify key phrases in the word problem. Okay, that's very important. And our final step is to translate the sentences involving the variable into mathematical expressions. Remember that expressions does not mean that our equation will have an equal sign. That's different, okay? So here are a couple steps that we could use to solve word problems, okay? So first one, so here we have an example. It says a number increased by 7 is 15. Find the number. So step one is to define the variable. And in this case, we're defining the variable as sorry, my bad, as x, okay? Always define what your variable represents before writing the equation. So then translate words into an equation. So here it says a number increased. When it says increase, that means we're adding, okay? Positive. That does not mean that we're subtracting. So increase just means adding. And then by what? Well, by 7. So we're adding by 7. And then we already have our variable here. And then it says a number increased by 7 is 15. So it means that our solution would be like our answer would be 15. Like what we're at, like if we add x and 7, then our answer would be 15. So since right now we're trying to find what the x is, we're gonna isolate the variable and solve for it. So if we isolate the variable, the number would be 8, okay? But we have to make sure. So after plugging in 8, uh where x was at previously, and then we add by 7, well that equals 15. So therefore 8 is the right number, okay? When solving word problems, always identify what is being asked, write a variable definition, translate step by step, and check your answer with substitution. So approach. Read the problem carefully, and determine what is being asked. Okay? And then define the variables to represent the unknowns. So we could write X as an example. Then translate the problem into an equation. So here we have an example that says Sarah bought a book for $15. So she bought a book for $15 and also a bookmark. The total cost was 17. Write and solve an equation to find the cost of the bookmark. So we know that the total that she spent was $17, okay? So we already put an equal sign since that's the total cost. And then she bought a book for $15, okay? But what we're trying to find is a bookmark. So since this is our unknown, we could write this as X, okay? And the reason why we're also gonna add it is because she bought both a book and a bookmark. When it says and, that means that we're combining two things. And when we combine, that means add, okay? So then write an equation to find the cost of the bookmark. Well, x plus 15 equals 17 because we're trying to find the bookmark. And since we also had to buy a book of $15, our total cost was 17. Okay, so here we have a practice problem. It says a total of $78, so that's our total cost, was spent on books and notebooks. So that means we're combining these, okay? These two are going to be combined. All right, so these two are going to be combined, and the total cost of books, so total cost of books was $48. Write and solve an equation. So we have to make an equation to find the cost of the notebooks. So our total cost in total was $78. So we already know our total cost, and that's why we put in equal signs since we have an equation. okay? And then the total cost of books was $48. And the reason why I put addition is since I said that we're combining both the books and the notebooks, and that equals our total cost, which is $78. That's the reason why I'm adding, okay? And then for notebooks, since this is our unknown, I could put a variable such as n to represent notebooks, okay? So that's our equation. N plus 48 equals 78. Here we have another practice problem. Liam is saving to buy a bicycle that costs $450. So that's our total right there. Because he's trying to buy a bicycle. All right, he has already saved $125. So that's already contribution. When I mean contribution, that means we're adding that since we already have that amount saved, okay? And that's also fixed amount. When I mean fixed amount, it means that it doesn't have a variable with it, since that number won't change since it's already there. And he plans to save $25 each week. Write and solve an equation to determine how many weeks will it take will it take him to save the total amount. So our total cost is $450 for that bicycle, right? And Liam already has $125 saved. So that's already a fixed amount, which means that we will include a variable with it. But if you notice here, we have you know, we have an amount $25, right? But it changes because each week it will financially grow more, okay? What that means is that it's not a fixed amount. It's a variable cost. What I mean by variable cost is that it'll be something like this 25x. The reason why is because this amount will keep on changing like each week. So for example, if I multiply 25 times I don't know, 1 week, he already earns $25 in that 1 week, right? But if he's already saved for 2 weeks, then it's $50. So you notice how it went from $25 to 50? That means that the amount keeps on changing. So it's not a fixed amount. A fixed amount is when it stays the same, such as 125. But since it's a variable cost, then that means that this amount will keep on changing depending on how many weeks he has saving. So this is our equation. All right, so here we have a couple word problems. Here we have the first word problem says 5 more than twice a number is 13. Find the number. So first case, what we have to do, we have twice a number, and then we have 5 more. So 5 more means that we're gonna be adding. So we have a plus 5, and then it's 13. 13 is like our total, okay? So 13 is like the total amount we have here. And this is twice a number. So what does twice a number mean? We're gonna have 2 here, and then our variable x, because a number is like the unknown. And that unknown, we're gonna have to multiply it by 2. So that's the reason why it has a 2 right next to it, okay? So this is our solution to the first problem, okay? And if we want to solve it, we subtract by 5 first. Then we have 2x equals 8. Then divide by 2, and x equals 4, okay? So that's our solution to the first case. All right, our next example is 8 less than the number is 20. Find the number. So the first thing we do here, our total cost is 20. That's our total amount, my bad. It's 20, right? And then we have 8 less than a number. So a number in this case is also the unknown because we don't know what the number is. And then if we have 8 less, what does less mean? Less means that we're subtracting by 8 specifically because here it says 8 less. So we subtract by 8, and this is our equation. X minus 8 equals 20. So we want to isolate the variable. We add by 8 to cancel out the 8 here. And whatever we do to the left side, we also got to do to the right side. So then we add by 8. Our solution is x equals 28. Okay. Our third example says the sum of a number and 9 is 45. Find the number. So the first thing we do, 45 is your total amount. So that's already a total amount. And then the sum of a number. Again, the number is the unknown. So that means that we're gonna have to write a variable for it. And I'm gonna write x. And if you notice here, we have something that says the sum. What does sum mean? Sum means addition, okay? Between what? The unknown and 9. And since our unknown is x, we're basically adding x and 9. Okay, so x plus 9 equals 45. And if we want to isolate the x, we do the opposite of addition, which is subtraction. And then we also subtract by 9 on the right side. And x equals to uh it would be 36. All right, x equals to 36. So now our final example is 12 added to triple number is 36. So 36 is our total amount, okay? So we put 36 here, and then 12 adds triple a number. So the number is the unknown again. And then we're multiplying it by 3. Triple means 3, okay? So we're gonna put it as 3 x, okay? Because we're multiplying the unknown by 3 and the unknown is the number. So, and then added by 12. So added, there it says addition, okay? And then by 12. So it's 3x plus 12 equals to 36. So then we subtract by 12, subtract by 12, 3x equals to 24. Then we divide by 3, and then our solution is x equals to 8. So there you go. We solved all of these word problems here, and hopefully you guys understood more about word problems with equations. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.